you people are expected to come inside the campus?
Sir, 6 May. Sir, 6 May.
6th May, sir.
6th to 7th May.
Sir, from 9th we will have classes on campus.
Okay. So I have started the recording. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes,
which I
sir.
have shared?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So these are the topics which we will be broadly discussing in this particular part. Before going into that, let us try to understand what the subject is all about. Okay, environmental science. So whenever we talk about environmental science, what do you understand? Why it is important?
So for sustenance of humanity, it is important.
Yes, sir.
Take
For
care of
protecting the environment.
that are happening in environment.
So basically for protecting the environment, right?
And resources.
That is all about theory. Practical examples. Why this particular subject is so important. When I started, that means if you go back in time, if I have to discuss about environmental science, it was not a compulsory course at my time when I was doing my, that means graduation. That time it was not a compulsory course. Okay. But now it is a compulsory course, not in graduation level, but in the high school level, and prior to class 10 also you get some idea about environment, right? Because with time we are able to see that the surrounding areas wherever we do live are getting degraded. Okay. What do you understand by the term environment? What do you understand? This is a very
So
common term, right?
things around
Surroundings.
Surroundings of the human being.
things
Our
around us, surroundings.
Yeah, things that surrounds us. So what do you understand by things that surround us?
Plant, animals, resources.
So in gist, if you wanted to say, what you can say? Plants, right? Plants are what?
So biotic and the abiotic factors.
So we are talking about biotic and abiotic things. That means all the biotic and abiotic component, whatever surrounds us, including us, makes the environment, right? So with time, what we are able to see that the surrounding areas, wherever we do live, which includes both the biotic and abiotic component, they are degrading. Okay. So thereby it is utmost importance to understand at least the minimum thing what is basically getting degraded and how it is getting degraded. If you understand what and how, then definitely we will be able to understand what we could not do. Understood? So that how we know if we don't do the same thing, definitely environment will be relatively in a safer side. So that is the all objective of this particular course. And accordingly, we will try to deal with all the different components of this particular subject. So whenever we talk about environment, definitely we have to understand that we have to take account of both the biotic and abiotic component. And if you try to understand the whole environment, there are four basic components. which we named as spheres. Okay. This might have been told by Dr. Mandal in the last class, but then also let me repeat the same. So whenever we talk about the four spheres which surrounds a particular, which makes up a particular area, includes what could be these four spheres?
Lithosphere, atmosphere.
So basically we are talking about abiotic and biotic community. Okay. If you go by sequence, sequence means chronologically. Art was there, right? Art started from whatever architecture we do have today of the art. It was not the same when it initiated, right? So it was different at that particular time. So first of all, art, in art, lithosphere, that means the land was created, followed by
Hydrosphere.
Yes, sir. Troposphere.
atmosphere. The air got evolved. Thirdly, yes, I would like to request those who are switching on their mic, please switch off your mic because some noise is coming in the background. So lithosphere, the land was firstly created, followed by air. Thirdly, your hydrosphere, that means your water. Okay. Just because lithosphere was there, that means land was there, we got a possibility of creating air. Okay. Just because a lithosphere and atmosphere was there, we got the possibility of getting water, that is hydrosphere. And just because these three were created, we got the possibility of
Biosphere.
biosphere, that means life. Okay. This component, and most importantly, the other two, water and life. This water and life doesn't sustain in the other planets, whatever we do know till now. I'm not saying that it is not possible to sustain, but definitely with the limited knowledge, whatever we do have till today, we are not able to discover such kind of planets or extraterrestrial body where water and life, they exist together. Understood?
Yes, sir.
And most importantly, if you have to go back in time, this water and life are possible just because atmosphere is there. And just because atmosphere is again possible when the lithosphere is there. So we'll try to understand the uniqueness of our planet's lithosphere. Definitely our planet's lithosphere is unique. Just because of that uniqueness of our lithosphere, we are having life in our planet. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So we have to understand lithosphere in detail. This lithosphere part will be taken by me, and the biosphere part will be again taken by me. These two parts I will deal with. The other two, hydrosphere and atmosphere, Dr. Mandal will teach. Understood? See, if you have any query during our class, you have all the liberty to ask. Okay? Is this understood?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So these things we will try to understand in this particular subject. Most importantly, I'll be talking about lithosphere and biosphere. Okay. Before going into that, let us try to understand why environmental science is important. Okay. What is the role of an environmental scientist, okay, in understanding the surrounding area? Say, for example, have you heard about a term BS6?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Card.
It is related to
Bison card.
by
Yes,
cars.
sir. Yes.
Okay. BS6, BS4 ये सब सुने होंगे ना? In the last year April
Yes,
or
sir.
2020 April, 2019 April. Since 2019 April, all the cars, all the bikes, whatever are being manufactured, they should follow the norm of BS6. BS6 का मतलब क्या है? भारत स्टेज 6. ठीक है? The same in European countries, it is known as Euro 6. ठीक है? So this is all solely related to cars and bikes. That means those vehicles which produce harmful gases and they exhaust everything to the atmosphere. So there is a shift from BS4 to BS6. ऐसा नहीं है कि BS4 से शुरू हुआ है, BS1 से शुरू होके अभी 6 तक आया है. So what does these all things do? They basically try to restrict the amount of pollution whatever a car produces. Understood? That means as of now, no company, no manufacturing company has the right to sell a car which has BS4 norms. It has to sell BS6 norms. BS6 norms means all the pollutants, they have to be subsequently reduced. Here, if you consider the amount of pollutants were X, here it has to be reduced to X minus Y. That means some value has to be there. That means it has to be reduced. So that is the basic norms. Take care. Is this understood? This is a policy made by the government. Okay. And in order to create a BS6 norms car, an engineer has to work, right? A mechanical engineer has to work day and night to understand how to reduce the emission. Understood? That means an engineer has to work and accordingly he has to reduce the pollution levels. Understood? And this policy is made by the government. So definitely that engineer has to make in such a way which is acquainted with that particular policy. This policy and this engineer, why he has to work hard in order to make a BS6 norms? Because a long time back, there was have you heard about Kyoto Protocol?
Yes, sir.
There are many submits which were, there are various meetings which were held in UNESCO, that means in UNO, in order to reduce the pollution levels. ठीक है, पहले हम CFC use करते थे, अभी तो हम use नहीं करते हैं. Why we don't use? Because it basically depletes our ozone layer. So nowadays, whatever coolant we do use, it is not made up of CFC. Understood? But how we are able to understand? We will be able to understand only when we will be knowing about all of these things, and that is known whenever a particular environmentalist will work on them. Understood? So let me divide everything into two sections. One is a person who has an industry. Okay. Any industry is required in order to develop. See, society will develop whenever an industry comes. Is this understood? Say, for example, we have seen 2G, 3G, 4G, now 5G is coming. This development in industry, why it is happening? Because that need is there, right? That development is required in order to develop the society. पहले तो मोबाइल्स नहीं थे, अभी मोबाइल्स है, स्मार्टफोन, पहले मोबाइल्स थे, नाउ स्मार्टफोन्स यू हैव. ठीक है, this development is taking place just because we have industries. So whenever there is an industry, definitely it will develop the society. However, at the cost, it will degrade the environment, right? It will pollute the environment. Say for example, you have a thermal plant. What do you understand by thermal plant?
Generate electricity with the help of heat.
With the help of
With the help of heat, we
Coal.
produce
See,
steam and
Basically,
my whole classes
coal.
are basically discussion based. Okay. I cannot, that means this is not one-way traffic. You have to talk with me, then only we can proceed. Okay. So what do you understand by thermal plant?
That produce energy from burning of coal.
Burning of
Yes,
coal,
sir.
right?
coal and
So
we produce
immediately whenever burning of coal is associated, whenever coal is burned, what are the pollutants which are being exhausted to the atmosphere? Any idea?
CO2, carbon dioxide, carbon
SO2,
monoxide.
carbon dioxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen,
That
sulfur
means
dioxide.
there are many volatile components which are present in the coal. Whenever you burn the coal, definitely they will be exhausted to the, they will be getting leached out to the atmosphere. So definitely what will happen, wherever a thermal plant is there, definitely the air surrounding that thermal plant will be degraded. Whenever you come to the institute, you will be definitely able to understand that one, what I was talking about, because we have multiple thermal plants in Durgapur. Durgapur is known for those things. Okay. So whenever you burn coal, in order to produce electricity, the negative component is that it is producing fly ash. It is producing various type of gases which is being emitted to the atmosphere. Right? So industry has to develop. Industry, there is a direct connection in developing the society, because just because of the thermal plant, we are getting uninterrupted electricity. Right? So uninterrupted electricity means development is there. है कि नहीं? अभी भी बहुत गांव होंगे जहां पे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं है. Those villages, what we call those villages? We call those villages as underdeveloped villages. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so in order to
Yes, sir.
get electricity, we need an industry which is indirectly polluting the air. This is one group of people which are always trying to develop the society. Okay. And the other group is that environmentalists. What is their concept is that means it is directly against the industry just because they are polluting the air. Just because the industries are polluting the air, environmentalists, they will not directly allow an industry to produce electricity. They are always in favor of the development, but in a sustainable way. Okay. They will always try to avoid whatever risk is associated with any kind of industry. So accordingly, these environmentalists, they try not to give promotion to industries. So indirectly, what will happen? The society will remain under developed. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Just because they create hindrance,
Yes, sir.
produce an industry in a particular place, so definitely the society will not get a chance to develop. So now, if these fights continue, if environmentalists, they don't allow an industry to grow, an industry that doesn't give a damn to the environment, what will happen? ultimately no development will happen. In order to have development, there is a way. If you make a collaboration in between these two. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So what the industry
sir.
people they ask is that, okay, we will go by your norms, give us a SOP which we have to follow, and accordingly we will try to mitigate whatever pollution is being created from our side. That means we will try to limit our pollution levels. So accordingly, there are multiple policies which are being made, okay, which basically collaborates the environmentalist and an industry person. So an environmentalist, it will provide a SOP. Okay. These are the minimum norms which you have to follow, and the industry has to follow that one. And accordingly, this collaboration is known as sustainable development. Understood?
Yes, sir.
समझ में आया है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So thereby we talk about BA6 norms as of today. Okay. There was a news few days back about
Nikhil,
Whoever it is, please mute yourself.
Who is that? Please mute.
Nikhil.
ठीक है. That is the worst part of taking online classes. मम्मी पापा को तो पता नहीं, वो लोग आके हल्ला कर देंगे. घर के बगल वालों को भी पता नहीं रहता है, कुछ भी कहीं भी बोल देते हैं.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. But again, whenever you come to the institute, definitely it will be more streamlined. It is, see what is happening. Online classes are not good. Why? Because the interaction between the student and the teachers, there is a huge gap. Okay, we cannot see you. Just because we cannot see you, we are not able to understand what are you able to understand or not. If we are not able to understand what you are understanding, definitely it will be difficult for us to understand how to make you understand. Okay. So, is this understood?
Yes,
Regarding the sustainable development, why sustainable development is important?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So all the thermal plants throughout the country, or it may be any industry, it always has to follow some norms, okay, which are related to environment. Okay. So thereby we say that कोई भी industry को direct river में wastes नहीं फेंका. We don't allow them to throw because definitely it will degrade the river, right? So thereby at many places we have chaotic situations wherever we see that kind of mismanagement. Understood? So I will definitely provide some material about this particular part. That means how, that means the importance of environmental science in society. Okay. So let me go into now lithosphere. Okay. So lithosphere. So we'll be talking about all the related things about lithosphere. So first of all, this is the brief outline of my talk regarding lithosphere. We will be discussing about the internal structure of the earth in the lithosphere part, followed by understanding which part of the internal structure of the earth is known as lithosphere. Then try to understand the structure of the crust, followed by composition of the earth crust, why this is important, minerals and rocks, rock cycle structure related to rocks, and lastly plate tectonics. This is all about lithosphere. Okay, what are the different types? Let me what are the different points we will be discussing in this particular part is being highlighted. So first of all, this is one of my slide. Okay. This is known to everyone. Unlike in order to understand the lithosphere, we have to understand the age related to our earth. So unlike human, the the age of the art is not 100 to 200 years, definitely, right? But it is beyond that. So can you assume or presume what could be the age of our planet?
4.5 billion year ago.
Yes?
Four,
5 billion years.
So I am getting two contrasting views. One is saying 4.5, the other one is saying 5 billion years. Okay. But in any way, it has to be more than 4 billion years, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
the
sir.
exact age of the art is
Why, sir?
basically 4.
Why?
Why means?
Big Bang
Means
Theory.
why it should be 4, sir?
It is not why it should be. It is more than 4.4 billion years. Okay. We'll be coming into that. So basically the age of our art is 4.54 billion years. Exactly. Okay. So do you have any idea how this particular 4.5 billion years, that is the age of the
Carbon
art,
dating.
Carbon dating.
age of the art is being calculated? Yes, someone
Carbon dating.
before
At first
completing the
order
question
reaction.
also, someone told that carbon dating. Okay. So, okay, we'll discuss. Okay. So someone says carbon dating. Okay. Anyone else?
Sir, uranium and lead component in
Bolo? Uranium and lead?
uh,
See,
radioactivity method.
Sir, carbon
see,
dating.
you don't make
50%.
language as a hindrance. Okay. If you are not comfortable in English, you can speak Hindi also. Okay. The main objective is to understand, right? And to communicate.
Sir, I
Okay.
don't think carbon dating would be proper because there are no rocks on the Earth's surface that is as old as the Earth itself. The Earth undergoes frequent infolding and hence rocks are turned over. So I think there would be any other way
No, no,
to
no.
find out.
I am not able to get you. Why you are saying carbon dating could not be a possible way?
So because we know due to the motion of the tectonic plates, the Earth's crust undergoes frequent infolding and the rocks are turned over. So the rocks that we find now on the Earth's surface are not as old as the Earth itself. So that way.
Okay. So how carbon dating will will create an hindrance? You are correct, partially correct. You are correct because yes, whatever rocks we do have in the art as of now, they don't represent the oldest rocks which were produced during the first stage of our planet. Definitely, you are correct. But why not carbon dating? Anyone
Sir,
else? What could be the other methods?
sir,
Radiometric dating.
Yes, in simple words, radiometric dating, yes, fine. Radiometric dating of those isotopes which has or have larger half-lives. Okay. Most importantly, those elements are only taken. There are multiple ways of dating a particular thing, right? You can use multiple elements. Say for example, uranium lead is one. Okay, uranium lead, thorium lead, okay, samarium, niobium, okay, lutetium, hafnium. These are isotopes, right?
Yes, sir.
And all are radioactive isotope. Argon, potassium argon, okay, potassium argon. These are also isotopes. Now, carbon 14, okay, carbon isotope also. These are different types of radioisotopes. But if you consider all these radioisotopes, rubidium, strontium, okay, these are isotopes with larger half-lives, but carbon isotope, it doesn't have larger half-life. Understood? And most importantly, whenever we talk about carbon dating are restricted to some type of, that means it has to be specifically a particular type whenever we use carbon dating. So carbon dating, if you know about carbon dating, which carbon is being dated?
Sir, C14.
Sir, carbon 14.
C14.
Carbon 14.
Yes, carbon
C14,
14.
sir.
But there are two types of carbon, right?
Yes, sir. Carbon 12 and carbon 14.
Those are isotopes.
Yes, sir.
There are two types of carbon. Our body is again made up of carbohydrates, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
देखो, कभी ऊट जलाए हो? Have you seen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
कभी कोल जलाए हो?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
कोल
Yes,
देखते
sir.
हो? So what does it produce? It produces ash. Whenever you burn wood, it produces ash as a residue. Whenever you produce coal, it produces ash. Similar type of ash is also produced whenever you burn a human being. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So all this ash, whatever we do get, if we consider our body itself, it is made up of vitamins, proteins, carbohydrate, वही सब तो है कि नहीं? So whenever we say about carbohydrate, what is there? Carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. Whenever we have to define a protein, protein का composition क्या है? CHNO. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Protein में भी वही रहता है कि नहीं? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes. Are you convinced
Yes,
what I am saying?
Sir.
अभी CHO,
Yes, sir.
carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. If our body burns, hydrogen and oxygen, they are volatiles, right? They are not, they are gases. They will escape to the atmosphere. तो रेसिड्यू में क्या रहेगा? कार्बन ही रहेगा, है कि नहीं? So thereby, whenever we burn wood, coal, or a human being, that is living thing, whatever living thing you burn, you will get ash, which is basically carbon. इसलिए ash का कलर काला भी होता है, ठीक है? So it is carbon. So whenever we are talking about that carbon which is present in our body and the carbon which is present in graphite and diamond. Are these two carbons same?
Yes, sir.
How?
So the physical properties different, but the chemical.
Their physical properties may be same, but they are not the same carbon.
Only the arrangement
I'm not able to hear you, Binayak.
items.
But anyway, see, whenever we talk about the carbon which is present in our body, that is inorganic carbon. Oh, sorry, that is organic carbon. The carbon which is present in graphite and diamond, that is inorganic carbon. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Is
Yes,
this
sir.
clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is clear, right? So carbon, there are two types of carbon. One is organic, the other one is inorganic carbon. So whenever we use carbon dating, it is only restricted to the organic carbon. We don't use carbon dating in inorganic carbon. That means carbon dating is a method which is used in order to understand the ages of a living body. Okay. And if you
Sir.
have to go, bolo.
Sir, what is the difference in, is there any difference in atomic formula of inorganic
No,
and
everything,
organic carbon?
that is what physically and chemically they are the same, but you will not get organic carbon. That means organic carbon and inorganic carbon, definition wise, they are different. And uses also they are different. Say for example, organic carbon, carbon dating you cannot use in inorganic carbon. You can only date in organic carbon. Okay. So thereby, whenever we use carbon dating, definitely carbon dating is a method which is being used in order to understand the age related to a living body. And if you have to go by the history of our planet, definitely living beings came a lot later than the origin of our whole planet. Understood? Initially, our planet got
Sir,
formed, it got evolved, then only the biosphere came into picture. Yes, someone was asking something.
sir, then what is the basic difference between the organic and inorganic carbon?
One is produced from living beings, the other one is produced from non-living beings.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So we use carbon dating in only living things, not in non-living things. Okay. So if you have to trace back the age of the earth using carbon dating, definitely it has limitation because it is only used for those elements which are organic in component, and definitely organic component in our planet came way later than the inorganic component. Understood? That means abiotic component was first there in our planet, subsequently followed by our biotic component. And biotic component that came way after. Okay. If you have to divide the whole planet, the age of the planet, into 4 parts, then I could say that in the last part only organic or human or living beings came into existence. Okay. From that time onwards, we started evolving, just like our planet. Is this understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the next option is
Yes,
definitely we have to go with radioactive dating. Okay. Radioactive dating matlab we have to use those isotopes which are radioactive. And most importantly, जैसे radon. Radon भी तो radioactive है, लेकिन उसका क्या है, half life 1 दिन या 2 दिन का होता है. So we cannot use those type of isotopes, right? We have to use such kind of isotopes which have higher or larger half life. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So now whenever we will be using radioactive dating, we have to use 2 abiotic components. That means we have to use inorganic material. Okay. So someone was saying that whatever rocks we do have today, those rocks doesn't represent the oldest rocks which were produced initially. He is 100% correct. Right? Rocks were not produced. But there is one more thing which is known as mineral. Mineral and rock. What do you understand from your understanding till now? Do you think that these 2 particular terms are different?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
be discussing about this one in detail. But then also, as of now, do you think that mineral and rock, they are not the same thing? They are different.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. They are
Yes, sir. They're different.
So,
Yes.
although it may not be possible for you to give the definition, but can you make me understand what could be the difference?
Sir, the mineral
Sir,
contains
rock is
one
the
type of
raw
the
product. Means,
material.
yes, rock can be
Rock and contains
mineral is something from which we
The
can
rocks are a
extract out
byproduct of
something for
minerals.
our.
The rocks are byproducts of minerals.
Okay, someone else?
So rock mineral contain elements which can be economically extracted. A portion
Yes,
of
sir.
mineral
For
can
our.
be economically extracted for us.
Okay, let me combine this hers and Rishi's uh, uh, whatever they have told. Okay. You both are partially correct. Rocks are basically, say for example, can you see this particular thing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is basically a rock. Okay. This is basically a rock. Can you see black and white colors?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this black and white
Yeah.
color, they represent two types of minerals. Okay. So yes, let me combine hers and Rishi's explanation. And let me combine these two sentences. Rocks or minerals are composed of elements. Okay. With definite composition, and rock is basically a composite of minerals. Understood? Basically, ऋषि जो बोल रहा था बाय प्रोडक्ट नहीं, rocks are basically products of minerals. ठीक है, ऋषि जो बोल रहा था yes, rocks are basically product or minerals are basically products of elements. Few elements or one element come together and they form a mineral in definite proportion. And different minerals or maybe one mineral, when they agglomerate together, they form a rock. Understood? So in this, if I have to make you understand, every one of you has different characteristics, different DNA, different नाक किसी का लंबा होगा, आंख किसी का अलग होगा, बाल किसी का कम होगा, हाइट किसी का अलग होगा, कोई काला होगा, कोई गोरा होगा, कोई लड़की होगा, कोई लड़का होगा, right? So every one of you can be considered as a mineral with separate DNA. ठीक है? And consider class section A, section F, section G, H, जो भी है, all the sections are basically composed of different individuals. So all these sections you can consider as rocks. Understood? And yourself, you are a mineral. समझ में आ गया?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
this is the sole difference between a mineral and a rock. Mineral is basically a composite of elements, whereas rock is a composite of minerals. Understood? Now it may so happen that multiple minerals may be present in all the different types of rocks. Say for mineral A, mineral B, mineral C, they form one rock, which is known as X. Now mineral D, mineral B, again mineral A, they may again form a different type of rock, which is known as Y, in which A and B are common. ऐसा भी हो सकता है E, F, G, ये तीन अलग टाइप का कॉम्बिनेशन है, ये Z, ऐसा भी हो सकता है. समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes, sir.
In order to identify or differentiate a particular rock is basically a composite of mineral. That composite may change. ठीक है? 3 स्टूडेंट्स मिलके एक ग्रुप बन गया एक ही क्लास में, वो लोग अलग, जैसे होता है ना 5 लोगों के साथ कोऑर्डिनेशन होता है, वो लोग 5 फ्रेंड हो गया, बाकी 90 लोग बाहर में जाए। वो जो 5 लोग है वो लोग फ्रेंड सर्कल बन गया, वो लोग एक टाइप का रॉक बन गया। समझ रहे हो?
यस सर।
इसी टाइप का है, मतलब if you don't try to complicate it, it is very easy to understand. Mineral is nothing, it's almost like one component, and rock is basically composite of different components with individual identity. Understood? So thereby, just like the student who say that whatever rocks we do have today, they doesn't represent the earliest rocks of the earth, but the minerals which were produced in the earliest time when the earth was produced, they will be there. Recycle हुआ है rock, mineral नहीं recycle हुआ है। समझ गए हो? समझ रहे हो कि नहीं? अभी जैसे कि आप लोग सेक्शन कोई एक मान लो, जैसे निखिल मान लो कोई एक सेक्शन में है, जब वो नेक्स्ट ईयर अपने डिपार्टमेंट में जाएगा उसका सेक्शन अलग हो गया है कि नहीं?
Yes.
So ultimately he is being recycled. Yes. End of the day, whenever he will be going out of this particular institute, he will be celebrating his farewell with few of the friends. ठीक है? वो इतना बड़ा ग्रुप से इतना छोटा ग्रुप में जाके डिवाइड हो गया, छोटा सा ग्रुप बन गया। But as a mineral, if you consider, he is there, although recycled, he is there. So if we date that particular mineral, definitely we can get the oldest age of our earth. So we'll be discussing about what type of rocks or what type of minerals which are used for dating or using radioactive dating in order to find the oldest age of our earth in the next class. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.